Today's video is all about how to make changes to an existing border. Welcome back to the garden, and today we're going to be looking at making changes to an existing border. Now, when this plant, this solidago, began to come up in spring, we thought, just as it was poking through the soil, we thought it was a campanula. It turns out it's solidago. So very beautiful plant, lovely yellow flowers that have now gone over. But obviously we've got yellow, the yellow of the Rudbeckia, and that is not the greatest of combinations. Two very different plants, two yellows right together like that is not the greatest. So what we wanted to do was enhance the border. There is space in the ground already, but it's just a very small area. And obviously when you've got plants that are really big and that grow to this height, they're going to take over. You know, it's important. We like a full border, but you've got to give the plants room to do their thing as well. And so what we're going to do is, not at the moment, because we like the beauty of this and we're going to see this through into the autumn, but probably when it does eventually die back, and so during the winter time or early spring, we're going to add to the border this amazing Crocosmia. This variety is Red King. It is gorgeous, stunning flowers, and you just imagine, so you've got the solidago, there'll be much less in the border, so it'll be more towards the back there. Then you've got this Red King Crocosmia there, and then the Rudbeckia right at the front. Now you imagine that. That's going to look absolutely stunning next year. So there's going to be a huge swathe of Red King, and obviously it will complement the Rudbeckia and the solidago and also the aster here at the side. So we're really excited about making the changes, but sometimes it's better to just leave things till an appropriate time. You know, the worst thing to do is come in here now, start pulling this out. You know, it's flowered beautifully, and it will be just nice to let it do its thing, let it go over into autumn, into the winter, then we'll take care of all this then. That will be the best time to do it. We're just going to leave it and appreciate the beauty of this plant throughout the autumn. The great thing about having plants in containers like this is that it allows you, when you buy them, to come into the border. So an already established border like this, you can come in here and you can just literally place it in, and you can see how the colour and the plant itself, the foliage, is going to complement this border. I mean, straight away to us, it's so obvious how it's going to look. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be stunning, and it's a fantastic thing to be able to do that, to be able to bring a plant in and place it. And if it doesn't look right, don't plant it. Or if it's the wrong place, do not plant it. Use the plant somewhere else and find something more appropriate. But this turns out to be, it's just the amazing colour that's going to really set this border off. I think it will enhance it beyond belief, and next year you'll see what I mean. Because we've got two yellows together, and believe me, when this solidago was flowering, it was yellow. So we had the yellow of the solidago, the yellow of the Rudbeckia, and it did not look great. Lovely colours, but together it was missing something. By using this Red King Crocosmia, we're splitting up the yellow and creating a greater harmony there. So you'll have the yellow, the red, the yellow, and it will just look stunning. And also with the foliage of the Crocosmia as well, it'll look great. That spiky, lovely foliage with the flowers on top there like that. You can just imagine what that's going to look like next year. It's going to be amazing. So I can't wait for that. So like I say, we'll wait for the right time to do all this, because there's a time and a place for things, and messing around with this now is just not a good time. We're well into September. This is not the greatest time to be doing stuff like that. We could do it, but it's not the greatest. So what we will do though, however, is pot this plant on. So I'll pot it on and, you know, take care of it over the winter. This plant was bought at a reduced price from the garden centre, so it's probably been hanging around in this pot for a very long time. So we really need to give it some nourishment, and so that's what we'll do. We'll pot it on, take care of it until we we plant it out into the border once we've moved some of the solidago. Also, the beauty of this is, because if you look closely, there are so many plants within this pot, because you can literally split. So you're dividing each of these plants and then place them into the border, and it's so many plants for free, and eventually they'll spread out and do their own thing and fill this entire area, this small space in the centre there. So that's something that we're going to be really, really looking forward to, because next year I want to see the colour of this Red King mixed in with this Rudbeckia. We're going to be making a few changes in this area of the garden as well. So this border, it looks great, but it needs a bit of work doing to it. This geranium mycorrhizum is spread right over across, and it's going to continue doing so, and backwards as well. So we really need to keep this in check. There are so many things that we're planning to do. Certainly we're going to take, there's a little Veronicastrum, that's going to come out, because that's going to be quite tall eventually, and it's going to have beautiful white flowers on, which it already has. What we'd like to do is move that to perhaps a different part of the garden. But here we have a few ideas. We've got this Calamagrostis here, this Carl Forster, and that is going to be stunning. What we're thinking about this is that this plant is going to go over, if you can just see behind this aster, we've got phlox, and this is Phlox David. Now, just fighting with the aster. Phlox David there, highly scented phlox, beautiful phlox, very tall and with white flowers, as you can see. And so we planted it at the back of the border, and it's not gone as high as what it usually would do this year. So what we're hoping to do is move that and bring it to the front of the border where I was just stood, and put this Calamagrostis in its place. So that will be behind there. That will grow really, really tall, have that height, have the flowers on, and it will look absolutely fantastic. It's going to be gorgeous, so tactile. And I know you might think, well, it's a shame to have it at the back of a border, but there it can provide a real statement and some height. Now, the Phlox David is going to come over into this area of the border. Somewhere in here it's going. We're not sure yet, but it's going to go somewhere in here. We've got two other plants here as well. Fantastic little plants. We've got Crocosmia Babylon, which is stunning colours, as you can see. Lovely orange there. I love the white stamens in the centre. And we've got this red hot popsicle, which is a Nymphophea, which it starts off like a reddy orange, so kind of like a red orange, and then fades to this beautiful, gorgeous salmon pink. And I just know that these two plants, and we got these at a really good price as well. The Nymphophea was reduced, and the Crocosmia was at a really, really good price at the garden centre. So literally, these are going to go into this border somewhere. We haven't decided, we haven't planned yet, but we know that they're definitely going to go in here. The Crocosmia Babylon here is going to tie into the other Crocosmia further along the border, or should I say, which will be planted further along the border, the Red King, and that's going to tie in beautifully, so that the eye will bounce across from one Crocosmia to the next. And having the Nymphophea in there will be fantastic. This border has been very much about summer. It's about, for the majority of plants in here, it's about summer planting, and autumn has been a fantastic opportunity to take a step back, to look at it, and to see where things can be improved. What can we do to make things better? And I always believe that's something that we should strive for in life. You know, is there any areas of life that we can make things better? And certainly in this border, there are a few places where, you know, the other side of the border, as you can see, is spot on. Just a few changes need making. This bit of the border, there's quite a lot can be done to make next year a really special year in the garden and for this border. Something I really like to do when I'm in the garden is to walk around and take lots of notes and do little videos and photographs as well. And that's to remind me what jobs need to be done. What is it that I need to be doing now, soon, or for the following year, certainly in winter when there's things to be done, because when the plants are dormant, it's very difficult to see how things looked, and photographs and videos allow you to see and be back in that moment when things are flowering and things are happy. Also, I use my mobile phone for notes, so I just make little notes on there. That's another good way, because you're out and about, everyone has the phone with them, and it's nice to just make notes while you're in the garden. Also, you can use it for the videos and photographs as well, and I just think it's a really easy way of not only documenting your journey, but documenting, most importantly, what needs to be done. So some great tips there. If you are planning to make any changes in the garden, a great thing to do is just to snip off a flower like so. So I've got this lovely Rebecca here, and just place it in various parts of the garden. So if I was thinking of putting the Rebecca here, then I can see how that's going to look with its companions. So all the other plants in the area, I can see exactly what it's going to look like and imagine it. And if you place a plant, and you place two plants together and you think, two flowers, and you think that looks horrible, don't do it, because you're only going to end up digging the plant out at a later date and placing it somewhere else. Better to try if you can to get things right first time, but we all make mistakes, and we're no exception to it. Sometimes we do things and we think, oh, this is going to look lovely, and then it just looks horrendous, and you just think. The thing is with gardening, it's a constant lesson. It's a life lesson. It's a journey that's never ending. And it's, it's like life, a series of chapters, but you never really get to the end of the book. So as long as you're gardening, there's always something to learn. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe to us, because we really would appreciate that. And any comments, drop them in the comments box below. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.